Welcome back to Classic Physique Radio. And this is, I think technically this is supposed to be episode 14, but I think episode 13 we're going to have to push back, and we'll talk about that later. I was just talking with the guest that we had on. So, we can talk about that later. But welcome back, Justin. What's up, dude? How are you?
Good. I'm doing okay actually. It's been an eventful few days for my family in a sense. So yeah, just taking care of some things and my my sister got in a car accident earlier today. So
Jeez, man.
she's okay. It was just a dude sideswiped her, so she's fine. Her car's fine, but my wife's in the bedroom. She's still in some pretty good pain. I don't know if Jarek and Terrence know, but my wife got a pretty bad accident on Friday. So uh yeah, so the car's, obviously not as important as her, but the car is completely, totaled and whatnot. And we had some doctor's visits earlier today and had to get some x-rays for her. So, she's been, you know,
The
Just
X-rays
kind of
are
been
all
better.
good.
So,
nothing like terrible, nothing's broken or anything like that. Just kind of like
well,
pain or.
we're gonna get the results back hopefully tomorrow, regarding the x-rays, but the ambulance, the EMTs on Friday at the scene didn't think that it was needed to take her to the hospital in ambulance. And, um, obviously, I thought we should have went. My wife in the time in the moment was doing, okay. But some things are just kind of lingering and whatnot. So got to get them checked out. But thank God nothing serious enough
Yeah.
that would have put us in that situation. But
Yeah.
if yeah, I can send you guys pictures of her car after, but you would think otherwise if you saw the car. It's pretty fucked up if we're allowed to curse on the podcast. Sorry, but
Go for it, bro. You're
Yeah, I
good,
cuss all
dude.
the time, dude.
Yeah, we all cuss
yeah,
constantly.
thankfully, nothing serious. So I
I
appreciate
mean,
it.
thank God for modern vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, she had I always mess up which model she just got. Fun fact, right before the Olympia, she got a new car, and she upgraded from the CRV to the HRV, or the HRV to the CRV. I forget which model is the smaller SUV of the Hondas and which one's the bigger one, right? But the bigger one looks like a freaking little truck. And thank God she upgraded 5 weeks before, because if it was a smaller one, we might have had a little bit of a different conversation, or it might have been more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably would be on the podcast.
Yeah, it might be, tending a little bit more to that.
Well,
So
thank God that's not the scenario.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah. So she got a bunch of people that love her and, taking care of her, including myself and family and friends, all the well wishes and whatnot. So I appreciate it. But yeah, it's obviously scary when you get a phone call 7:45 in the morning and you get like four or five of them from a number. I think it's a spam call. You know what I mean? I'm like, who's calling me this much? It's like American Red Cross asking me to donate blood, because I get them to call me all the time after donating blood. And then I get a text message from the number. It was like, Crystal was in an accident. You need to answer the phone and come. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like the first, you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So then I get on the call and she's like, she's okay, but this is where she is. You need to come now. You don't know if the person's lying or not. Like, is she actually okay? Or are you just saying that to
Yeah.
kind of keep me calm so I can get there? But thankfully, when I got there, she's sitting against the ambulance and kind of chatting with the EMTs and whatnot. But obviously, when I approach the scene and I see her vehicle, because I didn't see it before, and I'm like, your heart drops, because you're like, that car is fucked, and the airbags are like, it's just a mess. And yeah, basically, she was just driving straight, and someone didn't see her from opposing traffic and went to make a left right in front of her, and just bam, head on. So
Oof.
yeah, so thankfully, no serious injuries amongst any party, thankfully. You know what I mean? But obviously, still scary, So yeah, just
Yeah.
mentally, kind of like, if I'm being honest with you guys, having a bit more anxiety the past few days, just in regards to like, you know, Jarek, a little bit about my past and whatnot. When my dad passed away, I kind of got the same type of text or call that like, hey, like, you got to come here type thing. And it's like, so it kind of triggered a little bit of those,
Yeah.
Mm.
those memories and thoughts. So like the past, I'm, being transparent with you guys last night, I kind of like broke down to her, because I'm like, I was having a lot of anxiety. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm not, listen, I don't know what my wife went through. I wasn't in the vehicle, and I can only imagine like that scared them, that in like just, that situation. But, like I was having anxiety on my own front. Like, am I about to lose? Like, you know what I mean? And so it just kind of triggers these thoughts. So I've just been a little bit, kind of a little bit anxious the past few days, a little bit, kind of fucks with you a little bit, especially partner and whatnot. So
Talking about these things always helps. So, I
yeah,
mean, definitely glad it's okay, and it's good that you're being transparent about it. If
yeah,
you,
yeah. Sorry to kind of start the podcast like that. Thanks for letting me kind of open up that way a little
Nah,
bit.
that's what
ain't
it's
gotta be
about.
sorry about nothing, bro.
So yeah, but
This
that's
is this is the thing is like this is where the podcasts are valuable, right? Because it just shows that like you're not a robot. You're not just this guy who just like fucking does everything perfect and that's why you are the way you are. It's like you deal with the same things that the rest of us do. You
yeah,
can deal with things that come out of the fucking blue that knock you for a loop, and you still figure out maybe you're not perfect right now, but you figure out a way to fucking get back to things. You kind of use your structure and discipline to get through it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah. Just
people need to see that.
making sure she's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just making sure, she's okay and whatnot. So just in advance, if anytime during the podcast I need like 2, 3 minutes to just check on her and make sure all's good, or the dog needs to go out real quickly, I'll let you guys know because she can't really walk the dogs right now. So
Yeah.
you guys know if anything, kind of happens in the middle of I didn't want to cancel and she didn't want me to either. So yeah, I just want to preface that. So
Yeah.
apologize in advance if I got
Well,
to step
shout out to
away.
her, man. Shout out to her. Like,
Yeah. Thank you guys. So I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, we appreciate you coming on. You certainly could have, we would have understood if you canceled.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I had a cool, actually, Terrence had a fun dinner date with Ed Gonzalez and with Umar on Sunday.
Oh,
They're two,
cool, cool.
and obviously, work with him and whatnot. And she was like, nah, you ain't canceling that. Like, I'll have family come over and help me if, you know what I mean? Like, we have that scheduled for a couple weeks now. So she's supportive of making sure I can kind of keep doing these things and whatnot. So, yeah, she's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, a lot of times people think that like they see bodybuilders, man, from the outside looking in, and we're like, we're resilient, we're disciplined, we're robots, but at the same time, man, we're humans at the end of the day. Like we have emotions, bro. Like we break down. We're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So like, I appreciate you sharing that transparency with us on the podcast.
Yeah, I feel, obviously I've known Jarek and Terrence for a bit, but Nick, you're an awesome dude. So I feel comfortable kind of opening up about things with you all here and kind of sharing it with, everyone else too, because, like, hey, you never know who's watching this. And, you
Well, it can
know,
help.
I know the previous podcast that we had did was up very quickly and then got, taken down. But I will say, like, someone had reached out to me, asking some advice about something, and then they're like, "I hope to see you back on the Classic podcast soon." And I was like, "Well, stay tuned."
Yo, sooner than he thought, right?
Yeah, you
I
must have
mean,
saw it for a quick second, and then popped off. So,
Uh,
he saw it before. It
well,
got
the
taken.
we got a number of comments about you coming back on. Like I saw a few of them and responded to them, and we're gonna have to say it. It's like the comments are gonna be lit up about it because the people who did see the episode with you on, like, yes, it's gone. No, you don't need to know why. It's not your business. Like, deal with it. It is
Or
what it
maybe you
is.
do. No.
But yeah, but we wanted to have Justin back on so that we could like just highlight you again and just chat about like just classic physique, what we always do. So wanted to give
Yeah,
you a real opportunity to be able to come on here and talk to people.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and plus I missed the last one too. So
hey, there we go.
Yeah, you're the one who
that's
set it up,
it.
I think. So, I was sad you couldn't be on it. I'm like, damn, my man Jarek, so
So we'll probably have to ask some questions that we've already asked before, but at
do
this
it.
point we've done enough podcasts where it's like I don't remember all of it anyways.
All bleed into one another. You don't know what guy said what or what was talked about where, why, or
Yeah.
how. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me back on. You guys are doing an awesome thing for our division, and it's yeah, it's an honor to be conversing with y'all.
Yo, so how was the Olympia for you, man?
It was
This was your second one, right?
second one. Yep. And you remind me that I'm the second best classic United States guy,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
which is like really freaking weird to say, because I never would have imagined. I never believed in myself to kind of get to this point, right? Like I believed in like my work ethic and I'm a hard worker, but I never, I knew I had potential. I knew I had good shape, but like, just, not to kind of give like a motivational speech to everyone watching, but like it's okay. Like if you don't always believe that you're like destined for greatness, but if you keep chugging along and you tell yourself like I'm just going to continue to do this because I love it, no matter what the outcome is, you can achieve that, right? And it's like, yeah, man. I mean, going from 14th my first year, which was last year, 2024, and then ninth this year, 2025, like to be in the top 10 and to be able to be at finals like with UT and like, with all the other guys there. And even like I remember like two very distinct moments, like with you specifically, which was prejudging when you were getting like glazed up. You had a special little jar or some shit. I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah, that's the thick stuff.
At
Yeah.
the finals, I remember like pumping up, and I just remember seeing you under the lights and seeing myself next to you and being like, wow, like this is really like humbling and cool. Like this is like such a cool experience, except for how cold it was backstage. That wasn't fun.
What was this substance? What was this?
It's I forget the name of it right now, but like there are several different types of glaze you can use. Obviously the
Ah,
kind that most people
gotcha.
use. Then there's this thick, almost like Vaseline type. There's two. There's the clear kind, and then there's the bronzer. And I usually use that. Yeah.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to talk,
Gotcha.
man.
I know what it was. I just saw it. I'm like, this is the cheat code. I'm like,
It's for people with it's good for people with dry skin. If you soak up oil a lot, then you just ask them for that. They'll bring it out for you.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not like it's something you brought to the
No,
Olympia.
no,
Oh,
protein
okay,
have.
okay,
Yeah, they
okay.
normally
oh,
have it. It's just you got to ask for
well, that's new for all the listeners. Y'all
There
can
you
get
go.
a
There's
jar of Vaseline if you want it.
I forget what it's
yeah.
called. I think the because the color kind that I get, I think it's called bronzer, but I forget what the clear kind is for like if people want to use that.
Well,
But
if,
yeah,
if it nothing would be worse than the fucking olive oil that one show sprayed on my fucking clients for glazing.
for
So
like
it's
old
obviously
school
better than
Pam and
that.
olive oil. Yeah.
That was terrible, but
But speaking of the Olympia, man, you know what's crazy at the how much it's changed over the years. The first one back in 2016, uh, we had prejudging at the expo, and then there was an hour break, and then we had finals. And if you go online, I'm pretty sure it's almost impossible to find a quality video from that first one. And to come up to like this year where we're on that big stage, and then we get to go to like you said, backstage is beautiful. Like you get nice equipment backstage now, really nice lighting. It's changed a lot in the past, what, 8, 9 years.
It was just freezing.
I
Freezing. You remember that?
I don't I think I was good.
I was freezing. I remember we
I
talked
did
about that
see like
fight.
Hottie and somebody covered up in a blanket. I did see that though.
So cold. Like I played hockey growing up. So in
Mhm.
Jersey, like it's colder than probably where you guys are. So like I'm more used to the colder weather, but like man, I was like, this is freaking cold, right? And but no, it was really cool. I mean, after the Olympia, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was I was happy and excited when all was said and done. But obviously, when I saw the scorecard, I was a little upset I didn't place higher. I thought I might have, been able to squeak into 7 or 8. But with that being said, I mean, I can't, be upset moving up 5 spots. It was an honor. It's humbling. And it just kind of motivates me to keep getting better. And I know that I'm going to, right? So it's just like, I'm really excited for it. And then I went and did Hurricane the week after, was able to win that, beat Grego there. So that was kind of cool because it was like 9 and 10 from the O going up against each other. And we had a fun time with that show.
Before we get there, which one's sweeter? The first one, I mean, the first Olympia or the second one? In terms of the experience, in terms of like,
That is a good question.
Okay, I think that
just like, was it more exciting going to the second one, or was it more exciting going to the first one?
I think my reasoning might not. My reason for enjoying the second one more is because my whole family was there. The
Okay.
first one was a quick turnaround. Like when I won Tampa, it was 10 weeks before the O. So like ticket sales were kind of already up, and then planning for like family to get off work, even if it was like even if they flew out Friday the day before, it just wasn't gonna be the best situation. So like for my first Olympia, it was my wife, my coach, my coach's wife, and then my best friend, Umar, who also owns the chiropractor and deep tissue clinic that I utilize, Asylum. I post and share it a lot. And for this one though, like my whole family was there, a bunch of friends. Like it was so. I think this year was more special. And then like, what was really cool that like I know it's just kind of how it goes, but talking about the first Olympia versus second, right? Like with the first Olympia, I believe I was competitor number 7 or 8, just last name, right? Badurina is earlier. So, like I had a feeling I probably wasn't going to be in the first call out at my first Olympia, right? And I knew that a top 15 would be like a really cool first showing, especially in like the caliber of this division. Like we are in one of the most competitive divisions. I mean,
Yeah,
hell,
for
man.
sure.
I mean, like even the top 15 this year, like I don't want to say you could kind of flip a coin, but like, dude, if one guy slips, one guy can move up. And, you really, like you see all that happen.
You
Um,
mean one guy misses height and another guy beats him?
whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. But I had a feeling I could have been in the first call out this year. I'm probably like a first call out guy, or like I'm gonna lead the second call out type thing, because that's where I was last year, a second call out when I got 14th, just on the end. So, and I'll be straight up with you, like Breon, I'm like, Breon is gonna, he was in the first call out last year. He's an Olympian champ. He's usually 4 or 5. He's ahead of me because he's Breon Ansley, or
Yeah,
however you pronounce his
two-time
last name.
Mr. O, never been out the top five. Yeah.
So when they said in numerical order, and they said my number first, like I was the first number called for Classic Physique. I'm competitor number 6. It was like, whoa, all right, time to go. Like I'm first call out, first number called. And I know obviously that doesn't mean anything because it's numerical, but like I was like, wow, this is cool. And then there's actually a
Yeah.
video that someone got. It wasn't even my family and friends, because all my family and friends was able to get a spot at prejudging together. And whoever this was, I just saved it from a story post or like an archive, right? And I know this because they tagged the whole first call out below this. But it was really cool because they tagged all the names, and the stage was like here, and my family and like audience is here, and you can literally see my coach jump up, my wife jump up, my family jump up. And it was
That's
just so cool
awesome.
that this guy captured this, and the odds that he was right behind the
Uh,
whole crew. I can see my mom turn around to hug my brother. I can see my brother-in-law hug my sister. I can see it. It's just like
Yeah.
as they said competitor number
Nice.
6. So like to answer your question, sorry for the long drawn out, but Jarek, yeah, I think this year was more special because I was able to get the first call out. My whole family was there to kind of witness that in person, and it was like
Yeah.
that meant a ton to me, a ton
That's
to me.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
That's cool, bro.
So where officially did you land on the scorecards? You said you got ninth, correct? Right.
Yep. Ninth, yeah.
So
So
so looking at like I know Terrence is very analytical stuff and did his whole video breaking down the Olympia lineup and stuff. Have you kind of broken down the people who are ahead of you and what you need to do in order to take some steps above? Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think that, and I'm totally okay with any constructive criticism from y'all, anyone. I'm not one of those bodybuilders, and yeah, I know I'm just on TRT, so I got all the crap out of me, so I'm not gonna, feel any type of way when I'm, a week out of a show, right? But like, now I'm really open to criticism because I want to get better, right? And like, I look up to like all of you, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I've competed against you guys before, like Terrence. I mean, hell, I got a picture from the Arnold Classic before I even competed of us together when you were kind of just starting this. You know what I mean? I got
yeah.
pulled up and sent it to you guys. It's kind of cool. I look like a female there with my long hair down. I wasn't as big as I am now. That's why I wear the, But anyway, yeah, it like, yeah, it just this year was really really cool. Yeah, this was a really cool year for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just grateful to do it again. When I think about it, like I said, like I'm just, I always say this, like I'm just a kid from Marlton, New Jersey that has just a dream of being a great classic bodybuilder. So like for me, it's really humbling. And like I got some, like South Jersey here is not too populated with it, but like a good example is like Nick Walker and I train at the same gym. Like we live like right around each other. Like he grew up like right here in Jersey. He went to Pine Hill, which is right near Cherokee. I didn't know the guy until obviously we got into bodybuilding, but it's like, it's cool to like be like, all right, like I represent this area as like an IFBB pro, and like people look up to me, and I never, ever, ever would have like thought that about myself, So
Bro, it's weird. Like sometimes I've seen that certain areas will produce like good bodybuilders or athletes. Like where I started, this was where Sergio started. He's not from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, but he did his first show in Fort Walton Beach at the same show, not the same year. Same
okay.
thing with Alyssa Kessling. We all started in that same area.
Okay.
I thought it was super weird.
You were
Yeah.
just talking to, not to interject real quickly. Alex Toplin also was around here, and then he moved to Florida. So like
See,
Alex,
yeah.
Alex like was like I knew Alex before he even did his first show.
Oh
So
shit.
I had
Jordan Jordan Hutchinson was competing in Greensboro, where I was in college, where I started competing. So he was out there,
like where's Greensboro?
Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm
But he
thinking,
was out there. He actually just guest posed at the show that he first competed at this past week. So I thought that was cool.
that's
It is
cool.
cool. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really cool. That's
And
that's
that was back in my college town. So I was like watching his stories, be like, I know that person. I know that person. Like,
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
Just,
he's a
Justin, I know the first year we competed together was
2018.
2018, right? Obviously,
Sure.
you fell short. Came back the following year. That's the year I came and just spectated and seen all the returning athletes and seeing you, and we had a little conversation and hung out a little bit. Uh, it's fucking crazy to see how far you've come and how resilient you've been, and to make it to the Olympia, bro, and see where you are currently. Like just being able to witness where you came from to where you are now is just insane.
But also to have a big part of it. A lot of people don't know this. Jarek actually posed me a little bit before
Yeah,
Tampa,
Oh
before my
wow.
Tampa.
yeah,
He
yeah,
actually
yeah.
helped me improve my back double because I now figured out like, listen, my back obviously needed to improve a lot, but I also just was not posing it to my best ability. And Jarek, you really helped me. Like no, and I to the point where my wife actually hit up Jarek, I think, for a cup to buy me some last minute sessions to help it. Right?
there
I
you
think you
go.
were you might have been busy.
That was at a time where I kind of just stopped posing. I was like, you know what? I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah. No, that was really, really cool. And you really helped me, like really helped me with those back shots. And honestly, like because of that and because of working with Gloff for my training, going into when I got done
Top is
competing,
legit.
yeah, when I got done competing in 2024, at the Olympia and Hurricane and whatnot, unfortunately I had I just, just being transparent, money was tight. I couldn't afford,
Yeah,
golf
yeah,
anymore. And I felt like I learned a ton from him because I hired him
yeah.
for the year. And like, I really like to the point of, I still do a shit ton of stuff I learned from him. I've just been able to kind of manipulate things that I've learned from me. I've learned a ton from him. I've learned a ton from all of you. Right. And I think like the changes that I was able to make from 2024 to this year were drastic. And I was able to do that not on my own. Obviously, I have my coach. My wife helps me with some training stuff because she's competed before. Like she's really helped my form with my back training. I had a really tough time with like protraction, retraction. I couldn't figure out my back. And I've been able to kind of utilize everything I've learned from a bunch of different resources. So my bit of advice for anyone watching is like utilize everything, like be a sponge, even like even at Terrence's level as number three, like like he's trying to get to number one. So what could he learn to get better, right? What could Ramon do to continue to get better, to retain his title? Like we all can get better and learn. Like no one is the best ever. And like everyone's vulnerable to slipping up, right? So it's like, my bit of advice is like learn from everyone, man. Cause I've been blessed to come across some great people and learn from great people. And like then I've been able to like learn that to myself. And like I feel like the changes we made from 2024 to 2025 were like immense, especially to my backside.
What were the biggest changes you made in terms of your back training? Whether it be exercise selection, tempo, rep
Yeah.
range.
So if people watch my training, I'd say I'm definitely a very slow, controlled, eccentric type of guy. I do know what movements to do that with and not to do that with. I will say with when it came to my back, the biggest thing, and a lot of it is stuff that I learned from Gloff that I continue to implement, right? So it's just kind of like taking his training and continuing it and just time. I think that a lot of people want to rush it. And like, listen, there's some anomalies. Jose, Urs, these are young guys that like they just morphed at a young age, right? And I think that we all have to understand like that might not be our kind of journey per se, right? And it takes a little bit more time. I was talking to Umar, my buddy. He's like, I don't think we really need to change much from last year to this year. Maybe a couple things, right? Like, you know what I mean? But like maybe try a couple new things out, right? But like
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
that type of thing, right? So it's like, and if there's areas you can improve, learn how to kind of change those, but keep everything else the same. So what I did with when I got with Gloff, he removed every free weight movement I was doing from my back. I I
Yep.
only for one of my back sessions, he had me do a single arm dumbbell row to kind of finish the session. And he had me do like stiff deads for more so hams, glutes, erectors, right? Post chain, like a posterior day. What I can tell you is when I started work, like doing my own thing, I even removed the dumbbell row and um, I had some knee issues this prep, believe it or not, even though my legs progressed a ton and they were always a stronger point of mine, but I had to kind of like pull back on heavy stiff pulls and do like lighter dumbbell RDLs or even like a B stance, like a single leg dumbbell RDL. And man, oh man, I don't think people realize like it really isn't sometimes, and this is gonna sound like this is gonna sound
I think I know what you're about to say.
yeah, because here's the thing, like I still barbell squat.
Mhm.
And like love the barbell squat. I think for me, it's the best compound quad movement. I get a lot out of it. I'm a phenomenal squatter. I've been squatting from hockey, and it's just a movement I feel super comfortable with. I've changed it to where like I won't go past 350, 400 anymore, and usually I'll stick with 315 and just try to get as many reps as possible, slow and controlled. But I think that it really doesn't matter as long as you're creating tension within the muscle. As a bodybuilder, right? We're bodybuilders. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever movement that is for you, I think that's what's most important because people argue like barbell squats are crap. And I'm like, how are you going to tell me that? How are you going to tell me that they don't work for me? That's one of it's, you know what I mean? Like, or like,
Yeah.
oh, this works and this doesn't, right? It's like, and if someone told me and someone had a big chest and they're like, man, it's because I flat bench. I'd be like, all right, you know what I mean? I wouldn't fight it and be like, well, you could do this better. If you have a big chest, you're injury free, and like it's like, who am I
So
to say?
I think there are some movements you can disagree with that statement. Like deadlifts, for instance. Like I don't think I've ever
Sure,
met somebody who was like, bro, how'd you build your back? Like, bro, I just deadlift every session. I don't think I've ever met somebody, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like
there's
it's either they have some form of other isolation exercise
yeah.
revolving around the deadlift, but like
yeah,
I just
There's
don't.
or
definitely benefit to like creating thickness to the tissue because you're having to hold a heavy weight, but like to create the detail that like a Terrence
Right.
has in his back, like you're not going to get that just from deadlifts. But I think Justin's tapping on something that I've talked about with a number of different people here recently, and like it seems like there's a crop of a generation of people who are trying to assert their level of expertise by going after people who are already well established and trying to like bash them, right? Be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, this guy's an idiot, you shouldn't train this way because this is stupid, this is the right way to train. Like they go after people and they create negativity, and it's like it's this thing of like, why, right? Why do this, right? Because unless you're just going to be the dork that only sits behind your phone all the time forever and you don't go to actual shows, you don't go to expos, like people aren't going to fucking like you at some point. And you're just going to be miserable by your fucking self. It's like, it's great. What Justin's saying is great because he's like, I'm taking information from this person, but that doesn't negate that what I got from this person over here that's completely different is wrong. It's, but how do I mesh this together to work for me? You know what I mean? So it's
most
like,
Yeah.
most people I program, I don't have back squat. Like when
right.
I write training programs for people, just because it doesn't fit for them, and if they've tried it, even if I'm like, let's slow down tempo, let's use a Smith, let's use squat shoes because I'm a big I wear lifters because they help, and like sometimes it just doesn't work, and who am I to like. You know what I mean? If they find a different move that works for them, a great example, and actually, because I see the Labrada stuff, I forgot to give him a shout out, is Charlton Banks.
Yeah.
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 Yes, he trains
Charlie.
at my gym too. He lives in Philadelphia, but he'll come over to LCM and train. And we
I
have this
love Charlie.
who's one of the
He's a good
awesome,
dude.
nicest dudes ever.
Yeah.
And,
One of the sweatiest humans you'll ever meet.
yeah, you know what's funny?
He's gonna listen to this. He's gonna listen to this and start sweating. I promise. I will get a text message when he hears about this. He's just gonna start sweating, just reading hearing me talk about
me and him, his lady, and my wife said we get like pizza before prep starts because like Philly's got some cool spots, cheesesteaks and stuff. But we were having a talk recently about that, and he was just like, and actually he tagged me in something online. Someone commented because he's like, there's underrated, overrated movements, but nothing's underrated, nothing's overrated. Like it's all person dependent. And someone said, I don't feel like there's a need for anything with a barbell. And he's like, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that because like, and then he tagged me. He said, how are you going to tell, a higher level Olympian that built his legs off of squats that like a barbell is not going to work for him, right? You know what I mean? And to be honest with you guys, the reason that I do barbell squats, I mentioned my knee issue. I tore my meniscus back in 2022, and I re-aggravated it this year. And I re-aggravated it. I think it was a heavy session I did, but when I got back into training it, the machine hack squatting really bothered my knee, and weight squatting did not. So I'm like, I need to do this, and I was able to progress my legs. My legs, I didn't think. I knew they could improve. We all could improve, but like they made a lot of improvements from last year to this year. And I really wasn't trying, quote unquote, to bring them up. And I think it's just from, I don't want to say from the barbell, but like I think it was just from a combination of changing a bunch of things. And I found what worked for me that kept me safe, injury free. Like Terrence, I think you had an elbow issue you had to work around, right? We all have like,
Yeah, we do both have the same
am I
issue.
correct? Was it an elbow issue maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe you had to work around different exercises that, like everyone's like, yo, you definitely need to do this type of movement to build your triceps or your arms. And it's like, well, yeah, but like I have this injury and I've done this and this has helped me grow. So like I'm going to stick with this, but that could work for you. So I think really it just really comes down to the person. So don't pigeonhole yourself into something or some type of concept or some type of theory. I can get away with training legs once a week. Back I need to train twice a week. I can get away with doing free weight stuff for my legs. I cannot for back. So it's really, it's even with the individual, it could be person dependent based on your body part, right? So
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing when it comes to that is context. That's why it's person dependent. Like in terms of like you doing the machine squats, it's most likely because it's keeping you in a fixed path, not letting you move your knee where it needs to go, you know. But like that's what every movement, man. There's injuries, there's limb lengths, there's different things that make certain exercise better for certain people and worse for others. I don't think anyone needs anything. It's a preference thing. Most things build muscle, you know what I mean? Like, like
All the time.
yeah.
back and I can pretty much do everything. I think legs. Like I think like you need some machines for legs, like your extensions, but if you
Well,
gave me
yeah.
a cable stack, I could
Yeah.
probably do everything I need to if you gave me a cable stack, right? Like I create
Hey,
tension.
Justin, how long is your training sessions, bro? I know everybody wants to know because I'll be watching your videos and I'm swiping through. I'm like, yo, I've been on this post for about 5 minutes.
Is it because my sit takes a while? Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I've been trying to like kind of shorten up, but really I'm not in the gym for probably more than 2 hours.
Really?
But that's not the training session. I've really, really, really had to, if before maybe I was training for like let's say an hour and 50, an hour and 45, and doing a 10 minute warm up. My warm up is longer now because of these aches and pains and nags and stuff. But I can tell you that when I start my first movement, I'm ready to rock. So like, it might take me 20 minutes to warm up, but it's shortened my workout time and made it more efficient. So I would say, because like usually, like if I wasn't warmed up properly, when I get to the first movement, maybe I'm done my top and back off, and I'm like, yeah, I feel good. But like I'm not there yet. But after I do this whole warm up sequence, depending on what body part I'm training, I'm like, okay, I feel ready to rock and roll. I get in the first movement, I'm like, bam, I'm ready to rock, and I feel good. So I would say for legs, you're probably looking at 2 hours, right? I mean, you're looking at like a 2 hour session for me because I don't do legs twice a week. For the longest time, I've done one leg day a week, or I did like one leg day where I do like a little bit of hams on a back day, to kind of get a little bit more there. And then upper body sessions, you're probably looking like an hour and 30 to an hour and 45. You know what I mean? So I'm probably around that hour and 30 to 2 hour mark. It
Well,
just
that's
that's
not bad at all.
style because of
It
how.
just looks like it's taking you 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
It's not though. I promise. It's not. I mean, there's been times where it's creeped into that for like a leg day, especially deep into prep, where I'm like, oh fuck. But
So So
yeah,
I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this. I had I don't know if y'all know the guy's name, but the trainer that worked with Andrew Jacked for this Olympia,
Mr.
Adam
Mom.
Brammer, Barbarian Scholar on Instagram. I interviewed him yesterday,
Yeah, I know
and
Adam.
just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know him.
Yeah,
So
I
I
used
was
to play
talking.
in Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's at MI40, but he was talking about what he did with Andrew, and he talked about like, usually what you hear online is like you pull volume away and you work on like strong execution on XYZ and these strict patterns and whatnot. And he's like, we did the exact opposite. He's like, we did way more volume. We pushed his volume up really aggressively. We shortened his rest periods, and we made him work harder and more often and more volume and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I mean, I think any normal person probably wouldn't have done well with it, but because he's Andrew Jacked, like he was good to go. And that was
kind of
something that
reminds me of Ryan,
really,
the Ryan.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that was one of the points that Adam brought up. And I thought it was a really interesting perspective of like, do y'all think like, back in the 90s, people always want to go back to 90s being the best. And a lot of guys trained twice a day, right? And a lot of guys didn't really train to failure. They did a little bit higher volume. It was more uh, like that kind of setup. Do y'all think there's any validity to like training multiple times a day or going like a little bit higher volume or a little bit faster with your training to help get a different look?
I don't think it gives you a different look, but I mean, there's definitely benefits to. So it all depends, man. Like the research doesn't say like you can only build muscle with lower volume. Obviously,
Yeah.
everyone can build muscle with higher volume. It's just if you take sets closer to failure, you don't need as much volume. But if you take sets a little bit less closer to failure, then you need a bit more. So it all works.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
I'm just curious on y'all's perspective.
unintentional too, right? Because like
Huh?
if you're doing more reps, like you're more than likely gonna probably burn out from just not necessarily like mechanical fatigue, but probably just cardiovascular fatigue
Yeah.
before
My
you get
big
to that
thing
point.
with I'm sorry, go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I think the big thing is like you gotta like I don't train people anymore, but I guess you guys notice like you can't get everyone to train to failure. You know what I mean? If you can't get that person trained to failure, then you need to bring that volume up. And maybe Andrew's that type of guy that doesn't want to
Yeah.
go completely to failure, especially since he's in his mid 40s.
Yeah.
Exactly. That
I
makes
just thought it
sense.
was really interesting that he was like pushing the pace on him as far as like rest periods and stuff and almost like making his training like cardio, and like I mean
That's another thing.
right and like
He
that's
conditioning. He might need
exactly
that.
that's
Yeah.
where I was going with this is like it can kind of increase that ability like the contraction of the muscle and like the calorie burn that we get just from doing that and building or the signal of the tissue hitting that often, that sort of thing is like I definitely there's definitely something to be said. Like, look at the results that the guy got this year. You know what I mean?
I wonder if that would make more sense for guys like him who have trouble with thicker skin, who have trouble getting conditioning. Maybe
I
a
was
higher
thinking the same
volume
thing.
type of training probably be more suitable for those type of people, right?
Maybe even like because I also wonder if there's some validity to like the calorie burn and the muscle contraction that you get from like actually lifting weights versus like the calorie burn you get from getting on a treadmill. Like
Right.
like if you're pushing that pace and kind of pushing your cardiovascular system while also training like hitting weights, like is there a different thing that we just can't test
Right.
that gets a different look or gets the muscle looking different? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
He's gonna
there's things to think about.
I mean I track all this stuff at least for me, and I burn significantly more calories training than I do from cardio.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
especially if you got a guy that's not getting lean and who knows? I've seen open guys walk slow as hell. They walk like this is the slowest fucking walk, bro. And then like yo, I would definitely have that person train twice. Look at
Yeah. Yeah.
Minaganchi, Mateus, a classic guy. He wasn't his best in what was it, Tampa against Nile. Then he came back and they had him training twice a day, I believe. Came back a lot sharper in Texas. And then there was one other guy that did like something similar. Maybe it was Patrick Moore. He said he looked better. He didn't win, obviously, but he looked better that
Yeah.
second
I know what you're
time.
talking about. I feel like I heard an interview. Yeah, I
He
remember hearing that about
Yeah.
Patrick. I remember very
Yep.
distinctly remembering
there
hearing.
was like 10
between
days between
yep,
shows or
That's
something
yep.
like
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
He
like
did
some
like
ridiculous amount
Two
of
cardio
workouts.
sessions, two lifts, like
Yeah.
he did
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3 hours of cardio a day, 2 lifts a day, and like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to it. And I thought it was a really interesting conversation because a lot of times when I talk with trainers, it's like the same kind of thought process, but like this was just completely different, you know. And I think it's another thing that it's like eh, everyone who's coming up going, oh, well, if you train this way, you train wrong. And it's like, well, you try and tell fucking Andrew Jack that he's training wrong. Like,
If it
like,
works, it works, man. I mean,
yeah, right.
results trump everything, man. It's
I,
almost like you could get, so say for instance, without a doubt, like if you drive 100 miles an hour to a destination, you'll get there. You're supposed to get there faster, but then you got the risk of crashing, right? And then you don't make it fucking there at all. So like same thing with like lower volume training. Like on paper it should work, but then there's a whole bunch of variables. Like maybe this person can't train to failure, maybe joint issues, things like that that play a part.
Yeah. And now that I'm not competing anymore, low volume only hurts. Like if I go really low volume and I'm trying to push weight really hard, like the only thing I feel is my fucking old ass tendons. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
stripping that back a little bit, still having a couple sets that are closer to failure, but like really hard contractions, a pump, like that's what feels good for me right now and what's been progressing well. And it's definitely like there's a lot of different variables that go into it. So it's like again, like Justin said earlier, it's like don't limit yourself to one school of thought and go my way is the right way because it's like that could change from year to year. Like the way your body starts to respond. Like Terrence is obviously pretty known for like a pretty low volume, high intensity, that sort of thing. But maybe in a couple years his body starts to fight back with that. Now he has to adjust, you know. So it's like, but Terrence has the understanding of like what I'm doing right now is working, but that doesn't mean it is always the answer, you know. And that's like Justin said, is like always being someone who's willing to listen and learn.
but
I
also
think that's a big thing. Oh, go ahead,
you
Justin.
go T, you go T.
I was thinking most of these kids nowadays they're preaching studies nonstop, but like they have no real world experience.
I see
You know
some
what I mean?
crazy shit on
Bro,
the or
it's
page sometimes
exhausting.
of like my leg day. It's like there's this one guy, I don't even know. It's like leg extensions, 2 sets of 4 reps. I'm like, what is this? And it's like
Yeah, bro. It's
I'm like, what is it? Like that's the extreme low volume, right? Like in the low rep range. Like I think you all made a great point. And I think like for me, I've found out that it really is a body part specific.
mhm.
Like for me, like I have body parts that can handle way more, and I've learned that, right? And it's like no matter what type of approach I take, even I'll say this, I don't know how to like stop short of failure. Like I don't know how to not push a set. So like for me, it's like, all right, we're gonna do high rep or we're gonna do low rep, right? So it's like,
Mm.
what way are we gonna do it? And nowadays, like depending on the body part, I'm probably in that 8 to like 15 rep range for most things. So like, Jarek, when you see a minute and a half set of, barbell squats, I think like a couple weeks ago I got like, 3 plates for like 13 reps and I do like
Ooh.
or 5 second eccentric. I'm holding it in the hole for a second and then getting up, right? Like for me, that works and it'll bury me. And Nick, going to your point, like I feel pretty safe doing that, and my joints have helped me. And I created a different stimulus. So like I'm still going to failure, but not with doing 500 pounds like I used to and going just quick drop. And my form was great before, right? Even with that load. But it's the load over time that's going to wreck the knees, your CNS. I can tell you that like I feel more destroyed specific to the area that I'm training now than like systemically or CNS wise from just like the weight going down, even though the intensity has stayed the same because like slowing down the form. And I think for me, I think that the right now, like you said, Nick, the lower volume approach right now tends to be the better approach for me. And I can tell you that that's how I've the past even since working with Gloff, like I really took that approach, and like I've been in my opinion really transforming my physique the past 2 years because of that approach. But again, you would look at like I hit 5 maybe 6 sets of quads a week. That's all. You know what I mean? Like a week, like one session, like 2 sets of extensions, a set of squats, 2 sets of like another squat or a leg press once a week, right?
Every guy out there with the small legs is just punching air right now.
you know. But then on the flip, right? I was a hockey goalie growing up. I've always
Yeah.
the legs to do certain things. And maybe when I was younger playing hockey, I'm on them a lot. So that's like a lot of volume, right? Like, and not like weight training, obviously, it's hockey and it's being a goalie and it's a lot of quick
Look at cyclists. Look at
cyclists. I
cyclists.
remember
Fucking quads are retarded. Like it makes
Sam
a lot of
Slick
sense.
talked about like, he was a gymnast and you could see his back, like, and
Yeah.
gymnasts have these big upper bodies, right? Like, and they did a lot of volume for that sport. And then now they do lower volume. So like, and now I notice like for me as a hockey goalie, you don't need the biggest upper body. You need these strong, quick legs. And you only need your hands to your blocker and your catcher and you got your stick, right? So, my upper body didn't get as much of that like volume when I was younger, and I know this was with track people too, because I've talked to a few people that like did track and they got into bodybuilding. Legs, they
Uh-huh.
need so much less than their upper bodies. So it's like it took a turn, right? Like, so maybe volume is key for certain things, but maybe it's not. Maybe, yeah. So the Andrew Jack thing is a great point. Like he's at the point where, volume works for him. Like I feel like if I did that approach, I'd wither away.
Yeah.
I'd get too beat up. Like I feel like I need, and maybe it's a mental thing too, guys. I mean, listen, like we want to have fun training too. I think there's a part of it that like has to be fun to be able to push you. And I like to being able to push myself and figure out like if I can get better. And I like to track that. Like it's funny right here. These are my log books from the past like couple years. I got
There you
now
go.
like if I go
Nice.
back here, like hold on, let's see. It's funny to like learn what you did. Yeah, this is from 2022. This is a leg day from 2022. So I could see kind of like what I did here. I got probably one from like it's just really cool to like look back and see it in 2021, right? Like it just it's cool to see like how you've changed and whatnot, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've lowered volume as I've progressed because I've gotten better at a set. It took me
Yeah.
expression with Arnold. He's like, I could do one set of biceps where it might take someone else 10 sets to get what I get out of that one set. So I guess it really depends. I think that's like the super most important point is like, again, don't try everything and figure out what works for you. And again, you might have done something a year ago that needs to change now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I figured out what works with my back. I'm going to keep that. But like, I want to get a little bit more upper chest now. So maybe I need to bring that frequency up a little bit more than I had it before. Maybe I need to change something, like I want a little bit more quad sweep. So maybe I do need an extra set of quads a week. Maybe I need to hit them a little bit more frequent. Maybe, a lot of us get locked into like a weekly split. Maybe I need something a bit more revolving where like the sessions are changing, right? You know what I mean? Where I'm hitting legs a little bit sooner. Like, you just, you know what I mean? Like you figure these things out along the way. You know what I mean? So that'd be my bit of advice to everyone watching is like just learn, take it in, try what works for you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Stay injury free. Chris said something good. Like at some point, it's about staying injury free versus progressing. So however that can be
Yep.
for you, like
Yeah.
that's the most important, right? Especially as we get, older, it's like we want to be able to do this for as long as possible. So like Andrew might have to train that way and it might benefit him more now for a bunch of different reasons. So,
It's one of the things Adam said actually is like, if your sole focus all the time is just like how strong you can get and this, that, and the other, like every single bodybuilder is one catastrophic injury away from their career being done. And we've seen that happen, and like if you get caught in that loophole of like how strong can I fucking get, it's like you're gonna run into that wall way faster.
well, and here's where like I totally agree with that. But when I go to squat next week, I want to get 3 for 14 reps, but I feel so safe doing that where
Right.
like that progression and getting stronger with that, I would have a hard time, knock on wood, believing that something's going to happen to me, right? You know
Right.
what I mean? Again, knock on
Yep.
wood. But like, you know what I mean? Like anything can happen, even if your form is pitch perfect, super, super tight. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Super,
But
super tight.
but definitely like the more that weight goes up, the more that risk increases. So
I've
like if
learned that maybe go high reps, right? Like I mean, there's
yeah.
all the science behind like high reps. Tom Platz had some of the best quads. He talked about doing sets under 20 reps at some point, right? Just
Yeah.
because the load is enough with higher reps where it's going to stimulate something for you, right?
I
So
mean,
like,
I've always said that my arms and my legs always feel and grow better on like higher reps, 12 to 15, 15 to 20. Like I've even done like 20 sets of 25 to 30 before, and like I never exactly had small quads. I didn't have fucking best in the world quads or anything like that, but it was always a strong body part for me. And that's most of what I've done is higher volume, higher reps anyways.
It's how you do it too, right? Like, I mean, I think like last week I did like single leg extensions for legs, and maybe like 10 reps was my top set rep. I got like 10 reps or whatever. It might only been 90 pounds per leg. And someone might be able to do way more than me, but I'm like, you're not doing it how I'm doing it. You're not feeling it the way that I'm feeling it. And our legs show that, like respectfully, like, you know what I mean? Like I've really been able to like learn how to completely tax myself, slowing down, progressing it this specific way for this specific, you know what I mean? So like you can really make things way more challenging and tough, like internally by slowing things down. I mean, but then we get to the point, right, where Jack's like, it's like, how slow are you going to go where it's not going to benefit? Like, and the weight is too light where it's not going to like actually do anything and cause a stimulus. That's important too. Like, you need to go heavy enough where it's doing something. And I've had to like find that happy medium, because there was a time, you know, maybe where I was going too slow with certain things. Like I mentioned that, like some movements maybe I was like too slow with, or like a good example is like my lat training versus my upper back training. So this example was like with my lat training, I do, and I would say I have pretty good lats. You know, they're the part of my back that like is actually like more developed. I need more of the thickness, the inner back, the rhomboids, right? Like more of the rowing stuff, the chest supported rows, the cable rows. For those movements, it's better if I get in and out of the rep. What I mean by that is definitely still slow and controlled, but like I won't hold the contraction like with the upper back row. But for like a lat, like you know, we all know that single arm Nautilus pull down or a single arm cable pull down that we're all doing. Like for me, it feels super good if I hold that for a second or two, contract the lat, and then I'm going slow up. So you learn also, depending on the movement for your body, like what feels better. And I can tell you, if I did that for my upper back, my forearms would feel it. My upper back wouldn't get the stimulus
Right.
that it needs to, versus just getting in and out of the contraction quick, if that makes sense. And I learned that from my wife actually, because she's really in tune with her training as well. And like, you know, you know, watching her and doing that and whatnot. And even for like, I'm trying to think of another movement I might do quicker. Um,
But it makes sense because, like, I mean, the connection I think is probably the foundation, right? Like, you say you feel it, the connection a lot better when you slow things down on your lat versus when you're doing a row, right? And then
correct.
you feel like
Correct.
connection when you're in and out of the rep versus really sitting there and contracting. Now you're feeling more your forearms and more the connection with your biceps instead of the
Great
back.
point. If I were to go in and out for my lat, I probably wouldn't feel it as well as when I get it and hold it. A great example for me that like I would say I get complimented a lot on my hamstrings. Like my hamstrings from the side are very there.
You've been like that since fucking Teaneck, New Jersey, man.
I've really developed like them over the years. And I can
Yeah,
tell you that I have not changed my hamstring training.
yeah.
That I do the same thing for hamstrings that I've always done. So if you go watch like my seated hamstring curl videos, my contraction is aggressive.
He's on break the machine,
It's
bro, every
a
time.
yeah. You know
Yeah, I
what's
see.
funny
I was like,
though?
God damn.
I've never, knock on wood, broken a hamstring curl machine. So, knock on wood about that. And but I could tell you that gym owners don't like me. That's number one. But no, like if you look at me do it, I hold that contraction
Yeah.
so hard for a second or two, Jack, like you're talking about, and then slow up, right? You know what I mean? And for me, that you can't do, like I have really good hamstrings and that works for me and I feels really really good, and I can't maybe curl as much as the person next to me,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
I feel it more. My hamstrings are super developed, like, and I feel safer doing that. So it's like I just do it that way, and it just that's what works for me. But if it doesn't work for you, and the next person has ginormous hamstrings and they're in and out of it, and they say they still feel it well then keep doing that. Don't listen to me. Like, figure out what works for you and do it that way. You know what I mean? Because again, for my back, I wouldn't be training my upper back the same way as my lats, and that's where you know kind of go back to the point of like you figure out what body part needs what, and you know what I mean. Like I love the training talk. It's cool that you guys do too, because it's like I feel like a lot of us, man, we love bodybuilding, but we love training. We love being in the gym. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like
That's crazy. Look at that shit.
yeah, yeah, that's the life.
Bro, I'll be
Yeah.
pissed if I was a gym owner, bro. Like, what are you doing? Is that
I
three
was
plates?
That's
I was
four,
just about to say
Bro,
I
I'll
had to
be pissed.
bro.
scold a kid at fucking Destination a couple of weeks ago because he had 4 plates on that, I think, that same adductor, and he almost broke the whole fucking stack.
Bro.
I'm like with
You know,
What's up?
No, you go, T. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm excited. We got some stuff coming out of Bolt. Like we're increasing like that adductor machine to like 400 pounds. Cause like
Yeah, it's really cool what you're doing with that brand, by the way. Obviously like I don't have the access or the like the we don't have that here, right? LCM, the gym I train that you guys saw like in that video, was he does a phenomenal job here with the equipment and pulling from everywhere. We got some like mega mass pieces and whatnot, and you know what I mean? But like, yeah, like, I did this the other day. This was just safety bar. I only got 10 reps here because this bar is heavy as a
oh, three,
hammock.
yeah, three places a lot on that bar for sure.
Yeah, but you
Fuck
see
yeah,
like
it's just
slow controlled, pause in the hole. Like this is how I train now versus throwing 5 plates on there and kind of same depth that I would do, but I just very more slow controlled, hold it in the pause for a second. And here I would say I'm going a little bit quicker than I would my seated curl because it's a compound, right? Like I'm not going as slow as I would for that because like this just feels good to kind of like move a smidge quicker for me. So I found that works for me, but this is still super slow and controlled compared to most people. Most
yeah.
people are just in and out,
It's a damn
dropping.
good squat mechanic.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. No, I
Yeah.
really like it's definitely the one move that like again when people are like, oh, like machine squats beat barbell, I'm like they might for most people, but like for me, I just feel super comfortable doing that, and that's just what I do, you know. I
You're
love it.
super aware with your physique and how you feel when you're in the gym. I think that's important
Yeah,
for
bro. I can't tell you how many times I see I'll ask a pro like what do you need what do you think you need to work on? And it's like I don't know. And and then they're confused on why they're not winning. I'm like, bro, this they think they don't understand why they don't win shows. I'm like, bro, I think as a pro or if you're aspiring pro, part of the job is being able to critique yourself like honestly. And then also like obviously you've learned through like Nick and other people, but being able to make a plan for that. Because I remember I talked to this one pro, he's retired now, but he's like, oh yeah, bro, I need to work on my back. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just doing a bro split. So I'm like, so you're still training once a week? Like what like like you didn't do anything different. So you're doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Like what the fuck you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no,
And
that's why you're where you are right now, man, because people don't realize being a bodybuilder, you have like you can't be stupid. Like unless you got the like the top genetics. But
yeah,
like most of us have to fucking you have to think,
actually
right?
think about it.
You
Yeah.
know?
a lot of people think that bodybuilders are just these meatheads and whatnot. And listen, like that's it's different though, man. Now like times are like I think people think of like I don't want to like diss the bodybuilders in the 90s 2000s and whatnot, you know what I mean, but you hear a lot of them talk and you might think that way. You might think like they're just meatheads, but I think that we have so much education now, and I just feel as though like it could be good and bad, but I think a lot of it is truly good. I
Sure.
think the cool thing about information is you can take it and then see what works for you. You know
100%.
what I mean? And I think that I've been able and listen, I don't want to say like you do not need a college degree to do anything that we are doing in this sport and whatnot. What I will say is I did go to college for kinesiology, and some of the foundational stuff that I learned there has helped a ton. And yeah, I got my I don't have it hung up, but like
The only
I
thing my
promise I
degree,
have a degree.
the
I
only thing
promise
my
I have.
degree is good
Where
for
is
is
it?
being a background thing in the podcast. You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, like
Like my
Uh,
degree doesn't mean shit.
here's like like down here I have my bookshelf here, like I have one of my like sports exercise science books from college. I have all my stuff still, and there's a little bit of dust here popping up on me, so geez, that means I need to educate myself a little bit more. But yeah, like I think that those things help, man. I think that like education and like learning about all this stuff and then being able to apply it to you, like I remember I had a professor, Dr. Byron, who like there was like a couple concepts that he taught me that like I still apply and like have worked. So like I respect the fact that I went that route. And I think that just like educating yourself and being smart and like you said, Terrence, like we have to think about these things. You can't just like be like, oh, I'm just gonna do a bro split and try to improve, right? It might work because you might need to like you might be doing a bro split, but your back training might suck. So you might just need to have help with your back training and just training it once a week. You could progress because you got better in that one session weekly. So
mhm.
it might work, but it might not work, right? So like that's
Yeah.
why I said there's so many ways to skin this thing, and it's like it's so fascinating to learn. Like man, I like even like with UT, like like learning about you doing like what do you call it, appendage day, or like where it's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
legs.
Joe,
Like
yeah,
to
yeah.
be
Torso
honest
and
with you,
appendage
I
split.
look at that and I'm like, F that. I can't get into that. I don't have to do legs and arms together. What, but man, I mean, you're number
Yeah.
three in the world and have a dope ass physique and have progressed so much. It's like, yo, that could work. Maybe it's worth trying something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so you learn from these people. Like, you never, ever, ever think that you know everything, because you're always going to continue to learn, So yeah.
It's still funny to me that people want to argue about like splits, like what split is best. It's like fucking Jesus Christ,
I think at our level, it matters more than people that are just kind of getting into it, because when you're getting to this super, I mean, listen, I'll be completely transparent. Like you said, like, what, Justin, if you look at the top 10, what do you have to do? Like, I'd be a fool just like Terrence if I said, yo, I'm not looking at Terrence and seeing what he's got that I don't have, right? I'm looking at, like, you know what I mean? Like, who DeBoer
sure.
placed eighth ahead of me. Like, what does he have that I don't have? What can I learn from what he's
They're
doing?
all learning, bro.
You know what
100%
I
right.
mean? Like, yeah,
Like Urs was really good at it, man. He was training with every fucking body like 2, 3 years ago. He came out to train with me and Joe. Joe, he won't ever tell anybody, but Chris Bumstead bought his app and was using that. And Chris has done some sessions with him too. Everybody's learning, from everybody.
yeah, never, yeah.
But I just mean
Half the time, I don't want to put my split online because I'm like, fucking motherfucker's gonna steal my my
What's
info.
really funny, what's really funny is actually, I think that one of you, we were just talking about with Andrew, and I would say that, like, I get my hams and my glutes pretty dug out. And
Mhm.
I have a trick that I do, um, that, maybe I'll give away to y'all not on air. What I mean, keep it.
Hey,
I'll
let's
let Terrence
go.
know. It's okay. I'll let Jarek know too. But I know Jarek, you're still at it. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, you learn these like little tricks and things that, like, that apply to some things and not others. And,
yeah.
like, yeah, it's just so fascinating.
Bro, even like, dude, like, yeah, dude, especially if you pay attention, bro, you can learn a lot. Like, even sometimes people don't say stuff. Like, one of the best things I learned from Chris, he never told me. I just saw him. Like, he almost does no pump. He almost did no pump up before going on stage.
You talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, I've started doing that, and I never fade while I'm on when I'm getting up there now.
It's funny. I took a little bit of that too, for Hurricane, um,
Hmm.
because it was a little bit of a quicker turnaround, and I kind of just did a little bit of pump work before, the what do you even call it? Like the first look. It's not a
Yeah.
the first comparison. It's not a call out, right?
Individual. Yeah,
First look, and you
you're
do your
prejudging
individual,
individual.
and
Yeah.
then you
No,
do
not
your first
individuals.
call
Oh,
out.
you're talking about the group call outs.
Yeah,
Oh,
they bring you
gotcha.
first out in the group of 6, 7, like in numerical order.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
You
yeah,
first 1 through 8 guys and
yeah.
nine through whatever it is. Like, for Hurricane, I remember, and I think I know where I might have went wrong for the O, which is maybe trying to pump up a little bit more before going back home. But those gaps in between
The
are so.
thing with the Olympia, yeah, bro, it's almost no point to pump up because it's an hour and a half gap between the group call outs and when you actually do first call outs.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could pump up and then re carb up and everything and then come back, but like,
What a
dude,
crapshoot.
yeah, man, it's tough.
I kind
And
of
like,
did that a little bit for the Olympia, but very strategically. I will say, I think for me, because I think one of you asked, like, where do you think you kind of, I think that I just was not, I didn't have enough food, before going back on for the first call out, like in between that gap, that, you know what I mean? I started to, when I look at the video, I was really sharp for the first comparison, my individual, and the first call out. But once the first call out was done, it was like I should have had a little bit more before the first call out that carried over to, like, what do you call it when they bring us back out? Like, they brought out,
Yeah,
you guys again, the top three, but before that they brought out 4 and 5, and then
like a
before that they brought
confirmation
out,
type
yeah,
deal.
exactly. Like, I think that I started to fade a little bit more there just from the lack of food. So you learn, like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Just, for,
But I feel like it's probably really easy. Like I'm sure you guys have experienced this, like when you're just in the gym, right? And like you get distracted and like you kind of get away from your session for
that's
a little bit, and then you had a pretty good pump before you got started, but then when you try to start back up, you can't find it again. You can't, like, I'm sure you've all,
someone comes
or
and
it
talks to
takes
you
a
and
long time to get it back up again. And now
yeah,
we put that in like a situation where you're filling out with a lot of food. Your body's so sensitive to everything that happens. Like your metabolism's already through the roof, and like you pump up once, and now your body's flying through that shit, and now you got to wait an hour and a half, and like trying to get that back and get that fullness. You're just chasing it, and then you end up watery, and it's this
Yeah,
fucking nightmare of shit that happens.
you're also chasing that too the day before, right? Like you just made weight, you're trying to now like fill it back out. So
Yeah,
like the day before that, the days
Eh,
prior also lead up to that point definitely play a role in that holding that fullness.
yeah.
the weight is getting a little
I
tough.
just I wonder if like when you did that your first time, Terrence, of like you didn't really pump up backstage, were you a little anxious about like not pumping up? Did it
Yeah, for
make you
sure.
feel uncomfortable?
I was like,
Do
bro, is it too
That's
late?
I trust him? Is he just telling me a
that's
lie?
and
I'll
that's
just look it. I'll just look it over. I'm like, "Ooh, I guess I'll just sit.
and that's my thing is like I feel like a lot of athletes wouldn't even be able to sit in that and just be like, well, I shouldn't pump up because everybody else around them is doing it. You know, it's like it's that mob mentality thing of like you watch all these people start eating candy and you go, well, do I need to eat candy? Like you start, you know what I mean? It's like it's that
Yeah,
kind of like everybody else is doing it, so I'm supposed to do it. But it's like you gotta be paying attention. Like if your body's already moving through shit and like maybe pumping up is a bad idea when we have to wait, when we don't know how long the wait's going to be, you know?
yeah. I was like, well, I'll just look at the number one guy for the past
Yeah.
couple years. I'll listen to that. I'll follow that. See how it
I will
goes.
say it probably is more of a mind game for guys that are trying to work their way up because, you know, like, if you kind of are more of established in those top positions, you know that you're probably going to get that look.
Yeah.
That too.
So,
Yeah.
when you go out for the comparison to Olympia when there's 60 guys, you want to that first comparison, you want to be on, and that first your
I get it.
individual,
I get it.
you
Yeah.
want to stand out because that's what they're looking at, and then they're making the call out off that.
100%.
So a lot of guys that are working their way up, they might be thinking, I need to be on for every part of this,
See, you're probably honestly, I would agree with you there. I would
Yeah.
that's the hard thing. Yeah, I would
Because they
probably
want to
you're probably
look,
right.
right? You know what I mean? Like they want to be like, whoa, like who's that? Like, you know what I mean? Because if not, you're just going to get overlooked in that comparison, and then by yourself, like they're not going to really look at you, or they're going to mark you as like he's a third, four call out guy, you know what I mean?
See, that's where it's everything's fucking person dependent at this point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Based
yeah.
on
that's the biggest lesson
experience.
of this podcast is
Yeah.
like figure out what floats your own boat, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like figure out
Yeah.
what.
I mean, do you think that it'll matter next year now that we got that point system and now that whole entire,
How's
group
it
we kind
even
of have?
work? It's not like top 25 in
Yeah.
points, but
I'm a
is
little
that
confused still.
that's a lot of people if people are winning two shows? Like how is
Well,
that like
do the people who win two shows or win one of those top five shows where like you win it once and get qualified, does that still count towards points?
See, that's what I don't think it does, and that's why I thought it was weird. I could be wrong, but I think if you win two and if you win those auto calls, you get off that list, but there's still 25. I could be wrong, but that's what
Yeah.
it sounds like.
that's what
I,
I thought too, which
yeah.
is like, man, there could be still quite a bit of guys,
It's gonna be like 40, 50 dudes still.
which
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
is
still gonna be
better,
a
which is
lot.
better, right? But it's like you're
Well,
you know what I mean?
I
And I
mean,
don't
what I wonder what it would even look like if we did include everybody who won two shows and all the people who win the big shows that are on that list. What would it look like? Like, would the top 25 just be the list of guys who won two shows and that, or would there also be some guys who like won a show here or there or got second at a big show or whatever? You know what I mean? Like,
so it says on there, top it says if you win two shows, you automatically qualify, and then
yep,
top 25 in points. So, like, my guess is you get pulled off that point standing once you win your
Yeah.
two. So,
that's what I would assume.
so there could still be, you know,
There's
25
25
guys on
plus the
top
three,
of the top three, Terrence and Mike and Ramon, and then
the five shows.
the five winners. Like Jose already got one of them, and then there's
So that's
four.
32.
Yeah.
And
Then
plus,
plus I
however
whoever
many
wins two
people can win
shows.
two shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of needing to win two shows, Justin, you won Hurricane. So what's the plan for
Bro,
the next?
you gotta do New York, bro, in your area, dude.
I don't
You
You
know.
gotta
gotta do New York, bro.
you gotta
I
do
don't
New
know.
York.
We'll see. I will tell you guys something. I was going to apply for the Arnold. Like I definitely was going to
Shit.
apply for the Arnold.
Mhm.
Just I'll be transparent about that. I'm not. Um, I definitely need more time mentally and physically. I know I don't want to speak ahead of myself, but like I am more confident that I would get like an invite now than maybe in the past for myself, just based on
You would have got it. You would have got invited
what I've
100%.
done.
Yeah.
But I just feel as though, and another thing too, and like just being 100% like personal and transparent with you guys, my sister's getting married in December, and I wanted to be able to enjoy that to the fullest. And I know I'd be able to come back from it, but like I don't want to stress about that, and like that is like a once in a lifetime thing, and like I want to be able to enjoy that, enjoy the holidays, enjoy some time with my family, like give back a little bit. This year at least,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I'm never going to apply for the Arnold, but like it
Right.
was a combination of just like how I'm feeling mentally, physically, a bunch of these different things that, said, I kind of made the decision of let me see what else I can do. And Hurricane was the week after I won it last year. So I was in 2024. That's how I got my 2025 qual. So I was like, let me just go there, try to get a win. Right? You want, yeah, we want speaking news. This thing. I'm going to go win, but hey, man, you never know who shows up, right? Like, and I'm gonna go fight, try to get that, what they call it, like admit one. It's like, where's my little thing? It's just like admit one, like it's like one, like yeah,
Oh, the ticket to okay, I got
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So like like I got to win another one. So maybe it'll be a tier one shame.
Personally, I'm gonna give
You know,
you don't have to say anything, but personally, I think it would be a cool move for you to do Pittsburgh and New York. They're a week apart. One's in your backyard. I'm not doing it. Ramon's not doing it. Maybe Mike might, but even then, you still get a shit ton of points. Even if you didn't win that show, let's say, but you got a good chance of winning that show for sure. Um, that
Yeah.
would be honestly, then you make a statement because those are big shows. You get your name out there because,
Yeah.
like,
100%.
no offense to the smaller shows, but like at this, like the way bodybuilding is now, you want a smaller show. Like, even if you win a smaller show, sometimes people don't know or hear about it. You know what I mean?
Well, this
Not like
this is exactly what I said on one of our other podcasts, where like Terrence, you started announcing other shows that you were going to do after the Olympia, and I
Mhm.
was saying that guys in second callouts should take that opportunity and go do those shows because maybe they're one of those guys who gets pulled up into first callouts just because they got to be seen next to you or next to one of these guys who is at that level. So like for Justin being at that like right at that tipping point where he can crack the top six, the top five, whatever. Fucking Mike shows up to New York or Pittsburgh or whatever, and Justin's right on his
Look at
ass, or
Logan.
even beats him because he comes off because we all know that he didn't look quite as good at 204. Maybe fucking Justin comes in and just lights the fuck out and beats Mike, and now all of a sudden Justin's got all this hype going into the Olympia. It's like I think more people from that second call out that want to crack into that first need to be doing that.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, look at Logan at the hype he got doing the Arnold, placing second
Yeah.
to Mike,
Little head hunting, fucking go
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. Find him,
That
hunt him
hype
down,
lasted
go
a
look,
long
put me
time, you know what
next
I
to
mean?
him.
I mean,
Yeah.
and we can argue that, man, your shape is superior, bro.
Oh, 100%, man.
I
Like
mean,
your
So
structure's
you don't have to
awesome.
say if you'll do it, but putting that in your ear, bro.
what is
Terrence
that?
is
Wait,
looking for that
what is that?
exclusive
Wait, are
right
you
I
now.
don't know.
even
I
saying?
just got a forearm thing. I'm just holding it.
I thought that was like a symbol for something.
no, I swear. What is?
Hey, hey,
Is that something I
there we
don't
go.
know?
What we need to do is all order a fucking spinner on Amazon. Whenever we get an exclusive, we start fucking we start doing that, or
That's
one of those like the
keyword.
party kazoos, like.
Bro, that's
Oh shit.
keyword. I appreciate the belief in me for that. Like I said, like coming from y'all, that means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And I definitely you know, I definitely I definitely have ideas, you know what I mean, for what I want to do next year. And we'll see how they pan out. But I mean, one thing's for sure, no matter what I do, I plan to win it. So I mean,
Hell
like,
yeah.
and I never like I guys, I really never believed I'd get to this point. Like I really never did. So like for me, it's like, what do I got to lose now? Like I'm gonna speak confidently now because like I finally feel like I don't know, I'm meant to be here. You know what I mean? Like
Fuck
I
yeah.
think we talked about this in the last podcast, maybe not. Like up until like the end of May, I was still working a software sales job. Like I was still like working full time in software sales, trying to manage I made the jump going into the prep and saying, yo, like I'm gonna give this my all. Like I feel like this could be the year I could improve. Let me put it into coaching. Let me put it into my posing company, like that I have. Let me like, hopefully the sponsors can help out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think I'm in a little bit of a maybe listen, we all have our things going on, but like, my wife and I trying for a kid, we want to get a home. Like this is a really pinnacle point in my life. I'm 29 years old, I'll be 30 in June. And I'm just like, yo, like if I'm gonna make this jump, I better make it now. Like I better
Yep.
like just I never would have made that jump and believed in myself maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm really proud of the athlete and man I've, become and turned into. I really feel just confident in like my ability to work more than anything. You know what I mean? And like I know I'm not one of those people that's like I'm the hardest worker in the room. That's all. Like, how do you judge that? You know what I mean? We all
Yeah.
Terrence is gonna look at me and be like, man, I work harder than you. You know what I mean? Like we
Everybody
all
works hard, bro.
yeah, we all do. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's what's really cool about Classic is like I don't feel like there's a lot of drama in our division compared to a lot of the other divisions. Like I feel like a lot of us really, really respect each other, and like I can confidently say like all the guys in the top 10, other than maybe like one or two, I've had like really cool like conversations with, and like everyone is so supportive. Like honestly, man, like T, you, Niall, like Niall's such a
Niall's dope, dude.
dude,
Yeah,
man.
he's
Like I
dope.
love
Yeah.
conversing with him. You know what I mean? Like even so listen to this. After prejudging, I lost my t-shirt. So like someone like I put my stuff down in that one back room. I lost my t-shirt and I had no other shirt to go out into like to leave. And I'm like, I don't have a fucking where'd my shirt go?
Bro, you would have been mobbed.
Yeah.
Everybody would
My
have got
shirt
you, bro.
go. And Mateus was near me in the back room, and I'm like, "Did you see my shirt?" I'm like, "Someone stole my shirt," and he's like, "Yo, I got an extra. You just keep it, bro. Here." And I'm like, "Thanks, bro." Like, just cool. Like, he just
No,
gave me a
he's
shirt. Like,
super
you
nice too,
know what I
man.
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I
yeah,
mean, we've talked about this a couple of times where it's like, I think Terrence has done a great job of like he's kind of talked some shit and talked his confident like mindset recently and said like spoke his thoughts on all these things, but I think it's a very cringy thing when we see people like really go after other competitors. Like I think one of the cringiest things that we're seeing right now is this shit that's going on with women's physique with Sarah
Ooh.
and Natalia. It is fucking like so dumb. Like just you lost. Just
Oh,
fucking
man.
stop. And
Yeah.
and the reality of this is like every single female, male, or otherwise injects their body. I guarantee we can find fucking pictures where Sarah's got some lumps because an injection got pissed off. Like it
oh,
fucking happens. Who
me, I could,
like to
yeah,
sit here and
yeah,
say that
like,
it's SEO unless you have actual physical proof of her injecting SEO? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this
yeah,
is stupid. Just
yeah.
stop. Like,
Been like
I,
weeks now. Yeah.
I don't.
I've yeah, yeah. I've had like spot injection issues, like like
yeah.
dead
See,
ass. That
I recently had a bad one, bro. Like I'm talking about my left quad was probably like double the size.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I had to stop
but
training legs for like a whole week, bro.
I think the classic guys do it well. Is the whole point that I was saying? There's like the classic guys do it well. Is like y'all talk your shit and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna kick your ass or this, that, and the other. But it's never anything personal. It's never anything that goes so
yeah.
far that
Like
it's like this crazy
malicious.
weird
You know what
drama.
I
I
mean? Yeah.
mean, yeah, not to chime in and give these two guys shout outs, but I mean, Jarek's a competitor of mine and I hired him for posing. He helped me win a show. And Terrence, man, like hit me up right before. He's like, yo, I want to invite you out to the NPC gym. Like come. And dude, he was there for literally like, I was there longer than you, Terrence. Like you
Bro,
literally
that trip was a little yeah.
but like that
Yeah.
meant so much to me. Like you kind of got me out there and like invited me and like literally like on a couple day notice. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, hey, you want to make this trip with me? Like a 1 day trip. And I got my video guy to come out, like just Terrence and then you invited me to New York too, bro. And like you've just been just a really good role model to me. I'm really grateful for that. Like I said, like and like it's probably cool from like and I'm not just saying like you and me, but like from like let's say your perspective or like someone else who maybe like listen like you're a role model to me, you've developed you have created this division to what it is. Like how could we like same as Breon, same as Danny, same as Bumps, like all you top guys, like and it's like yo, like it's probably cool for you guys to see too, like yo, like this kid who 7 8 years ago was taking a pic with me at the Arnold, like look at him now, he's on stage in the first call at the Olympia with me, like
Yeah, bro, it is wild sometimes. I remember like even like our Jared I forget his last name.
Feather.
Brother.
No, no, no. He's a black class physique guy. He's got like these short dreads. Anyway, I remember helping him pose when he was a teenager, and then he turned pro like a few years later, man. It's very, very cool.
It's it's just such an interesting thing when somebody has the mindset that
Derek
someone.
Keys.
Mm. It,
Ah,
Oh,
oh,
Jared.
yes, Jared
Jared.
Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
known
yeah.
him since he was a fucking teenager. He hired me for posing and had to do it outside behind like in the fucking
awesome.
dirt, bro.
It's
Like
awesome.
Bro, what's up
yeah.
with
But
Jared? I haven't heard Jared in a minute.
Yeah.
I
Is he
don't
all
know.
right?
I don't know.
I
That's
think I know he's got his family, and I remember maybe he got into like managing some gyms, like more full-time work and kind of stepping away from
good.
eating for a
Good.
bit. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I just remember seeing that on socials. Like I could be wrong. It's funny you mentioned his name. I don't think I've conversed or heard or saw anything from him in a bit. I do hope he's okay because he was always a nice guy and pretty supportive, So
yeah,
He
but like
posted on before, so not too long ago.
yeah, but like I was saying, it's like it's such an interesting thing when somebody develops a mindset that someone else's success is their failure. You know what I mean? Like it's such a shitty way to go about life, and it's like it doesn't have to be that way. It just really doesn't.
No,
I,
no.
I know. I remember seeing that comment that you're talking about with, I mean, we've already said their names, like the comment Sarah made. I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
really? I'm like, I never saw Natalia say that. I've
Honestly,
never.
The fact that
I
she's doubling down on it too is wild.
almost thought it was just like for the hype of the division because like I mean I know Natalia
Yeah,
for a very long time and like when I was like living in Florida and I was going to these seminars, she's always at the seminar, she's always giving back to the sport, like
Uh,
you fucking grinding her way to the fucking top, bro.
Yeah,
And
I've
I said,
heard
I was like, man, she just bullshitting. Like I just kept swiping. Like, but then it became bigger and the story became bigger and bigger, and all these news outlets are I don't know, bro. That's crazy.
everybody's fighting over it, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
I love
it's
seeing it in the men's physique division. I do see some drama there. I'll call those guys out with all due
honestly,
respect.
Ali, this whole thing with Ali, Ali's a fucking mastermind with it, bro. Like he's blown it. Like I definitely wouldn't do what he did, but like it's worked 100%. Dude
Yeah.
has made like it's insane.
a
Got these
little, a
crazy
little.
sponsorships in what Indonesia. He. I always pay attention to people like that, and like, despite like I probably wouldn't do exactly what he did, it's 100% played in his favor. one
A little,
hundred percent,
a little bit of WWE goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like
bro.
I think Terrence even like garnered a lot more attention and like probably more fans and whatnot just with the little bit of like, look, I'm gonna talk my shit this year. Like I'm not just gonna be the guy who like is quiet and keeps to himself. Like I'm gonna tell you what my goals are and I'm gonna tell you why I'm going to force them on you. You know what I
And
mean? It's like
with respect,
and that's cool as shit. Like that people want to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Pittsburgh and New York
respect,
run was fucking dope. That shit was dope, bro. I was like, damn.
bro.
What
Yeah,
I saw from
But
Terrence, never disrespectful though. Like you can,
right.
you know what I mean? Like you can talk your shit like about yourself and not be disrespectful to other people.
100%,
Like Terrence
100%.
never, like you know what I mean? Like that's I never ever felt that way if I saw anything. You know what I mean? It's not
Like
like
even at I think it was Pittsburgh when I gave Ramon and Urs some shit. I was like, yo, you guys look huge. You know, like I would be nervous
Yeah.
if there was no weight limit, you know? Like I like to fucking tease, man.
As a light jab. That's
Yeah, yeah,
easy.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. That
that's
was
nothing. But you know, it is funny though, because the podcast that we did with Justin and his athlete, I kind of came out and said like what my lofty goal was after you'd asked that question. And then right after that, the universe was like, cool, you want to say that shit out loud? Let's test you a little bit. And went through some shit with like a client and like just the a peak didn't go super amazing the way he wanted to, and him being upset with the look. He won a class, he won his men's physique class, but then was upset with some other things that had happened. And it was one of those things where it was like when an athlete doesn't get the when they're not happy with what happened, that's when it hurts me the most. And it was one of those things that like I told my girlfriend when I was talking to it, I was like, you know what this is the universe going, hey, cool, you said that shit out loud, let's see if you can figure this shit the fuck out, right? So handle this, you know what I mean? And it was kind of one of those situations where it was like, cool, I guess I gotta fucking nut up or shut up, you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
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 Whew.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, we've done about an hour and a half here.
Yeah, it's about time for me to.
Jarek, you said you had to bounce anyway, so you hung around
Man,
longer than we expected.
I was like, you know what, man, I'm hanging with the boys.
This is,
Hell yeah.
if I'm being honest with you guys, this is awesome. I'd love to do it again in the
Yeah.
future after you guys
Yeah.
do some
Anytime,
guests. We're
man.
looking for just kind of like you guys are awesome, and like I don't want to invite myself back on again, but you guys are definitely the cats I'd love to chill and chat with, and
Yeah. What
yeah,
about like maybe like when we do some like maybe like show reviews or
yeah.
you know
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
predictions,
Yeah.
I'd
whatever.
love
Have
to-
Justin on.
You know who's doing
100%.
that quite a bit? Who like I don't know why Brant stopped doing it. Brant was
I, Brandon was doing it. He was putting on for the classic for a little minute
it
because
was
I remember
awesome.
being on his podcast
He
too.
could just be busy with work and life. Him and I still connect here and there. I know
Yeah.
he just proposed his now fiance maybe a
Yeah.
couple months ago or a month or two ago.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, I mean, it's also probably insanely difficult trying to keep up with every single show because there's so many like even
Yeah.
that's a conversation that the three of us have had a number of times in the group chats. Like, fuck, there's 4 shows this weekend. Like, God, like how are we gonna go through all this? And like,
Weekend of Hurricane, Terrence was competing. I was competing.
yeah,
There was a show like
yeah.
that's only
Yeah.
classic,
Like,
right? You know,
like
like,
it baffles me that the guy who runs Beyond the Stage can post as much as he does. Like, it is so crazy how much that dude can fucking stay on top of this shit. It's like
he's
I
probably
feel
got a
overwhelmed
person
with the
per
little bit we
continent.
do.
He's got a person per continent, probably.
Yeah.
Sure.
that's
Sure.
probably like all he does. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's his full-time thing, yo. You know,
Yeah.
because we sponsor him too. So like
yeah.
it's bro, he's
Oh
killing.
He
yeah,
does
I
great.
see
He's
both at
killing
the
it.
end of the videos. I'm like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
That account
He's
just
killing it.
followed me.
Oh, cool.
Beyond the
Good,
Stage.
good.
That's cool. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
I like their stuff that they put out, you know.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, let's call it there. I'm gonna need to eat before long. So, Justin, dude, thanks so much for coming back on again. Sorry we had to remove the other episode. Anybody who comments about that, it's not gonna get answered. Deal with it. It is what it is.
DM me.
Enjoy
I
this
know all
one.
about it.
Enjoy this one because I feel like this was awesome and like I really hope that people can learn from this. Like I think that all of us like love helping people and have coached people. Like we continue to coach people and help people and like I just yeah, hopefully people got a lot out of this that can help them, you know.
100%. Cool.
Thank you
Well,
all for having me.
yeah, for anybody who is still watching, doing the do the YouTube thing, comment, subscribe, like, share it with your friends, and we'll catch you on the next one.